All right, volume of prisms and cylinders. This is basically review, but all we've done so far with prisms are like the rectangular prisms, so now we're going to do a little bit different shapes. Okay, volume is the area of the base times the height. So if you can identify the base, you got it. Just find the area and multiply by the height. And remember, the height connects the bases. So do you see the two triangles? The one on top and the one on bottom? This is the height because it connects the two triangles. This is not the height because this isn't the two bases over here. So just make sure you're picking the correct height. Now the area of a triangle is half base times height. So we're not using this height, we're looking just at the triangle now to find 1/2 base times height. And we're gonna use 8 and 6 as our base and height because they form a 90-degree angle. Not 10, 10 is actually the hypotenuse, if you think about it. We need the ones that form the right angle. So 6 times 8, and then half of that. So that ends up being 48 divided by 2 is 24. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that it makes sense. 24, and then we can multiply by the height of the prism, which is 12, and we end up with, I think it's 128. I could just do this. Distributed property again. 240 plus 48, 288. And because it's volume, we use centimeters squared. And I want you to also think mathematically, centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, that's 3 centimeters cubed. So we're in 3 dimensions now. So that's our first example. Just find the base, do the area of the base, and then multiply by the height. All right, moving on to a battery. A AA battery is about 50 millimeters long. Wow, that looks like a 6. Please forgive me. And then the diameter is 14 millimeters. Now, I want you to think, if we're finding the area of a circle, because isn't a battery circular shape, it's a cylinder, wow. It's cylindrical, so the base is a circle. We don't want the diameter, we want the radius, and the radius is 7. So use pi r squared, and I changed it to 7 and squared it in my mind. That's how I got 49. And then when you use 22 over 7, you can cancel and you end up with 54 times 50. Do you get 54? No, it would be 154. Typo. 154 times 50, and then your answer is 7,700 millimeters cubed. And it's cubed because it's volume. So just make sure you don't forget the 1. That's all. And then 2 more examples. Whoever put this picture on the internet really wanted you guys to know that it's a triangle. So you're welcome. This is a triangle, but it's not a right triangle. We have to use the 4 because, and sometimes they'll give you like that over here is, I know I didn't use Pythagorean theorem or anything, but they'll give you that this side is 5 or something, right? And you have to know, hold up, I need the 2 that form a right angle. I don't need this 5. I don't need whatever other number it is. I need the base and the height. So, to find the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height, and I'm just like in my head, 6 times 4 is 24, half of that is 12, right? And then obviously this line connects the 2 bases, so we multiply, and this one's easy. 120 centimeters cubed, because centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, centimeters cubed. And then we have one very last one, and this is like a story problem. And I don't want to brag, but kind of a graphic arts genius here. Buster has 2 empty cylindrical cans because he just finished eating his apocalypse stash. Get those cans last, people. The smaller can is 2 inches in diameter and 3 inches tall. So I just drew it out. Well, I didn't draw it, but I, made it. So 2 inches in diameter, 3 inches tall. And the other one is twice as big, so duh, 4 inches diameter and 6 inches tall because I times 2. Makes sense, right? So, I think they want you to find the volume of both and then just kind of compare them. So we don't want 2 if we're doing pi r squared because the radius is actually 1. So pi r squared is basically pi times 1 and then multiply by the height. So 3 pi inches cubed. And the reason I'm leaving it in pi, I'm not multiplying by pi, is because if we're going to compare them, we kind of want them to be in easy numbers to compare. 3 is a lot easier than 9 point whatever if you multiply by 3.14, or 10 point whatever, 10.28. So over here, instead of using 4, we're going to use 2 for the diameter, 2 squared, or 2 for the radius, 4 times 6, 24 pi, right? Because it's supposed to be pi r squared. So we end up with 24 inches cubed. So look at the scale factor here. The scale factor for the diameter is times 2, and the height is times 2. But volume, the difference is you multiply by 8. Let's think about it. Volume is cubed, so the scale factor is 2 for lines. So 3 dimensions would be 2 cubed, and the volume would be 8 times as big. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I know we've been talking about this a little bit. So if we were talking about the area, it would be 2 squared, and it would be 4 times as big. But since we're talking about the volume, you take the scale factor, 2, cube it for volume, and it's 8 times bigger. So hopefully you guys understand that. And of course, if it was like the scale factor was 3, it would be 3 cubed, and it would be 27 times bigger. If it was 5, it would be 5 cubed, and so on and so forth. So this is the most interesting problem here. All right, that's it. Have a good day. Good luck.